This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King ×2. And he looked at me, and I wasn't sure, was he angry because that's a terrible thing to say, or was he complimented? I have never figured it out.
If we just sacrifice our addiction a bit to Trump crack, right? And what we do is, in this election cycle, we make MAGA Trump, Trump MAGA. And then what we do, okay, hear me out on this, we make Mark Robinson the fucking poster child of MAGA. Make him the fucking post. This guy's going to be running for governor of North Carolina. He's not running for city council.
No, I mean, this is a hugely important statement. But here's where I would fully disagree with you. Fully agree with you, but add to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what Biden did in 2020. We didn't pick up enough seats along with him, but he talked about MAGA Republicans. It needs to be that brand that they're MAGA. You're exactly right. You connect everybody else to him, and it's not hard to when you hear the stuff Mark Robinson has said.
Ain't but two genders, ain't nothing but men and women.
He says God called on men to lead, not women.
Called to be led by men. When it was time to face down Goliath, sent David, not DeVita, David. There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth.
We could pass a bill saying you can't have an abortion in North Carolina for any reason.
He says the civil rights movement in the 1960s was, quote, crap, and that Martin Luther King was a communist.
Robinson posted the movie Black Panther was, quote, created by an agnostic Jew to pull the shekels out of your Sforza pockets, using the Yiddish words for money and black.
We had a lot of these people in 2022, and we were very successful. I mean, the history we overcame in 2022, taking state legislative chambers for the first time since FDR, when your president was in power, right? If they hadn't held on to that gerrymander that Andrew Cuomo us with in New York because he wanted to run for president as a moderate. We didn't
Andrew who?
Exactly. Andrew who should be in prison. That's Andrew who.
Right.
If they hadn't held on to that and stole that one seat in Alabama and whatever, they still wouldn't have even won the House in 2022. We gained in the Senate. We did all that stuff. And the reason we did is we successfully connected, and they make it easy because they picked the craziest candidates. It wasn't hard to call Herschel Walker a MAGA Republican, right? It wasn't hard.
I did it every day.
I did too. So to me, you're exactly getting it right. You know, Rachel, I know you've had Rachel Bitterkoffer on.
Yeah.
She talks about negative partisanship.
Hey,
that's what this is about, which is the brand isn't Donald Trump. Right.
I got Rachel's Bible right here next to me.
The brand isn't, I've had her on my, I used to have a podcast. I had her on. The brand is not Donald Trump for them. It is MAGA Republicanism.
That's right.
And you create a mount. I would even go further. I'd create a dirty dozen or whatever. He should be one of them. But of course you want Marge on there because, even if she's going to say crazier, she's going to say stuff as crazy as Trump constantly. And you want her to be out front. You want Matt Gaetz to be out front. Pick your 12. Mark Robinson needs to be one of them.
Your hateful eight, maybe hateful eight.
That would be a great brand. Pick your hateful eight. And you know what I would say to you? Like, make sure to pick a few other ones. I mean, you've got Marge and Gaetz, right, and Trump, but make sure to pick a few other ones, as you've smartly done with Mark Robinson, who are in seats we can win.
Right. Well, and that, because he is, he's not just running for governor. He is the sitting lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina. So North Carolinians are going to go to the polls going, whoa, how in the did we let this psychopath be our goddamn lieutenant
governor? They elected
governor?
All Democrats to their state offices. I think to at least all the big ones. I don't know every one because some states elect a treasurer or this or that, but their AG who's running against him, Josh Stein, was elected, and so was Roy Cooper to 2 terms there. So clearly, Democrats can get elected. And I can tell you, I can't go into certain stuff, but I did when I was doing ads for Biden, I did it also some stuff for the trial lawyers. And you may remember there was the guy there, Cunningham, who was this big star until they found out that he had, he was a veteran and he went messing around with another veteran's wife and that kind of.
Okay.
Well, before all of that came out,
He
and-
was fucking somebody.
well, we were livid at that guy because before all that came out, he was the ideal candidate, and he was actually running behind Roy Cooper, the governor, because he was an incumbent by about a point or two, but ahead of Biden by a point or two. And I'd make an argument to you that everybody's numbers went down because of Cunningham. And in the end, thankfully, Stein and Cooper hung on. Biden, I think you could almost say Cunningham cost him that state because 70,000 votes. I mean, you can't say for sure, but he cost him votes. There's no doubt he cost him votes.
Right.
And so that's North Carolina is on right there. It is the most swing state in the country right now, hugely winnable. And if you have this big fat asshole, you know, screaming, saying things like gay people are filth and women shouldn't vote and the Holocaust is hogwash, like just let him talk. It's like the Trump thing. Just let him talk.
He referred to the victims of the Parkland school shooting as spoiled little bastards.
He says the moon landing in 1969 may have been fake. He also says there is a secret ruling cabal that is part reptile.
And said that Beyonce is satanic.